Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. We are going to go ahead and do an Avalon Alpha Beginner's Guide. We've already gone through and we did a guide around logging in and the entire process just to be able to access the game. But I've been hearing a lot in Discord, both the Avalon and also several other Discords, just questions. Once I get logged in, what do I do? So what I'm going to go ahead and do, and this is not a hard fast blueprint or guide itself. This is more of a rough suggestions on what you should probably do when you first log in. Please also understand that we are in alpha, so there is a very good chance that if you're watching this a week from now, that there's going to be some things that are different, and there will definitely be difference when we get to beta and launch. So those will be completely different. This is really just meant as a high level guide for the alpha players that are jumping in, whether you're a gold pass, silver pass, emerald pass, whatever pass that you're going to have. This just kind of gives you an idea of what you could do when you first jump in. And again, remember, it's all subject to change because we're in alpha. So just don't be mad if you see something different when you log in. All right, let's go ahead. What I'm going to do for this video is I'm actually going to focus on a newer character. So this is really meant for anyone that's jumping in for the first time. You don't have any special gear. You don't have a ton of AVL. You're really just jumping in for the first time. I'm going to be using the Viking Berserker for this one. I'm not going to use my Sir Galahad. That's the one I prefer to use or prefer to play with. I'm going to use the Viking Berserker since he's low level. Just kind of give you an idea. He is level 2, but it's similar stance. All right, let's go ahead and jump in here. You're going to hit server, and then you're going to decide on what server that you want to go on. Right now, there's only 2. There's US East and Paris. Decide whatever everyone else is playing, and you go ahead and join. I guess there is some possible latencies. I've been in Paris and I've been on the US East, and I haven't felt any latency for either of the servers based on my location, and I'm located in the US, so the Paris definitely won't see any issues, at least as of right now. When you first log in, you're going to be here. You're going to be you're basically at the edge of the SD first village. SD is going to have 2 villages in alpha. Eventually, right now there's only 1. Second village is being produced. It's going to take a few weeks, and then there is a third village that's out there already. I'll show you that, Cornwall. That is mostly NTM. I don't know if there's any other guilds that are living there at this point in time. So when you first log in, the first thing I would do is just get oriented with the area itself. If you run towards the village, sorry, I should have showed you the sign. They now have these nice signs in here. Dragonheart is the SD Village 1. You run here, you're going to see the stable there, which is currently not being used, but that'll be used in the future where you can go ahead and get your horse mounts. If you keep running, you can either run as slow as I'm doing right now, or if you hold down shift on the keyboard, you do run faster, but it does use your stamina. And you'll see different NPCs. You'll see these are some farms that you're going to come up to right here on the, and then you just keep running down here to the main lane, or the main street, I guess we could call it. You'll go ahead, and the first things I would do, just orient yourself with everything that's going on. If you go in the middle of the village here, you'll see there's the forge, which is where you're going to repair all your gear, and also you can craft new gear. There's a little bit of right now as far as the gear goes, but they're going to continue to add to it. You can see that. Ooh, jumping around here a little bit. You can go ahead and see the owner of the forge. That's a nice little touch that they've done. All of the buildings eventually will be player owned. There's still some that are for sale, and I'll kind of highlight those so you can kind of see who owns of them. It's nice because there's a plaque above each of them that really shows. Here at the forge, you can go ahead and hit E, and you'll see a number of different things that are available for crafting. You can go ahead. You won't need this now, but you'll need it down the road. You see a little button here that says repair. You can go ahead and repair your items there with Avalon, which is down here at the bottom right. For alpha, you'll probably start with a certain amount depending on what pass that you have. Since I have a gold pass, each of my characters start with 500 AVL. Silver is going to be less, and emerald is going to be less. I did a whole other video on that as far as what each of the accounts or the passes come with, and it's split basically. The gold pass comes with 3,000 AVL, I believe, and that's split across all the players, so that's why I have 500 on this player. Each of my players will start with 500. All right, let's go ahead and move on from here. So now you know where the forge is. These are all where all the houses are. The first thing I would do is go ahead and jump in one of these fires. You're all welcome. This is one of my houses. You're all welcome to use my fire pit. Even if I yell, get off my lawn, you go ahead and use my fire pit. And you sit here, it's going to give you a buff. If you see down here on where my stamina is in the middle, the yellow bar, it's going from 500 to 525, 550. It's going to go up to 600. It's basically a limited time buff on your stamina and mana if you're playing a mage. And there we go, we're at 600. And the other thing I would always do is come over here to the fountain. It's the Fountain of Youth. Again, gives you a limited time buff on your health. If you look at my health, it is 1020. If I hit E, there we go, and we are now up to 1530. Also, if you are low on health and you just happen to be around here, if you run to here and you hit E, it fills up your health and your stamina. So that's another thing. All right. So now that we have the buffs, again, they're limited time, I think roughly 10 minutes. I could be wrong on that. Let's orient you with the actual your basically your inventory. If you click on I, it's going to give you your inventory. You'll see the different weapons that I have, different materials that I have. You are given some materials, for example, bread. We're going to go ahead and produce some more bread. I'll show you how to make that because that's going to be key, especially for people or for characters like the Vikings and other characters that don't have healing. You're going to need something to get your health back when you're fighting, and I'll show you that. Bread is a great opportunity. It's relatively easy to produce. So we'll go ahead and show you that here. If you want to remove weapons from here, go ahead and click on the weapon once, and that removes it, or you can go ahead and drag it in to put it back in there. You also have other slots here. This slot right here is for a necklace. You have 2 slots for rings. You have a slot for artifact, and you have a slot for a wearable. Right now, the only wearable in the game is the helmet. Which is a very, very rare drop. So you got to be a whole lot higher level. So we won't go into that much detail right now. But let's talk about making bread. In order to make bread, because this is essential and you will make a lot of this throughout the game, what I typically do is I go over here. There's a giant wheat field over here. You see this huge wheat field, and then in the distance up there you see the mill. That's my preferred mill. Partially because I own part of it. So I recommend it produces the best bread in the game. It doesn't actually, but go ahead and use that one. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to run around here, and you see all these little sparklies that are coming up here. Every time you go over to one, you click E. You'll see on the left side, I picked one piece of grain from that. Go over here, do it again. And then you're going to basically run to all these little sparklies to try and build up some of your just basically gathering grain, because grain is the main component that you're going to need for the basic bread. What I do is I usually just run through here and grab a whole bunch. I try and usually grab up to 40, but we may not go that much for this little part. But you can sprint and grab and just go around. There is several different types of bread that you can produce. The basic one is going to be just from 5 wheat. I'm sorry, I keep saying wheat. 5 grain. And then 2 AVL will create 1 loaf of bread that restores a portion of your health. Let me just show you. This is what it looks like, and it restores 25% of your max health. So it's a nice little boost. There is better bread that you can do. There's berries. There's berries that you can get, and then there is honey bread that you can get, which is 2 different types. The berry bread gives you, I believe, 75. We'll look at that here when we get to the mill. And berries are icons like this. You just run up, gather the wild berries. And then there's honey bread, which costs 10 AVL to create, and is the best bread that's in the game right now. In order to find honey, you run out to find trees that have this gold ball on them, and that's the honey. Hit E. And you can go ahead and gather the honey. And if you're in your inventory, this is what the berries look like, and this is what the honey looks like. So now that we have a little bit of grain, let's go ahead. I'm going to grab some grain on the way there still, so we can produce a few more. There we go. We have 25 things of grain, so we can go ahead and make 25 things of bread. That'll help us quite a bit. All right, so we just walk in here, Go to the mill, hit E, and you'll see the different selections of bread that you can create. You can see who it's owned by. It's my SD guild, which is the guild that I'm part of also. Great group of people. I highly recommend them. Own this mill, and it's nice because we own it in portions, so it's not like one person owning it. The guild has a general, and we own portions of it. There are different types of bread in here. You have the basic bread, which is the one I'm going to make as beginners, and I suggest you do too, just because the fee is the cheapest until you build up enough AVL. Go ahead, you just have to click on it, and you just have to do it over again. I'm hoping at some point they'll allow us to either craft multiple items at a time or leave this menu open until I'm actually done crafting. Again, alpha. We'll come to those in the future. There we go. I've made my bread. All right, so next thing we're going to do is make sure I equip my bread. Down here, you'll see a Q slot. You drag your bread right there, and now all I have to do is hit Q, and I'll get my health back. What I strongly encourage that you do is once you find a character that you like, I would test them all. Just even if you test them all for a level or two, see which character you like and get really familiar with their skills, which is all down here. Once you get familiar with their skills, you can really hone in on one character that you like to play. For me, I like Sir Galahad, just because he's tanky, and I tend to get myself into trouble. So that's my favorite one to play. This one I've heard is also really fun to play, so that's why we're going ahead and doing it here. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get a level or two. So what you want to do is, in order to equip your weapons, let me actually get out here in the clear so you can see me. In order to equip your weapons, you hit tab, and that brings your first set of weapons out, and you can hit tab again, and that'll switch your weapons up. And it goes basically on here. This is your first set, and this is your second set. So my first set is the double axes. My second set is an axe and a shield. All right. And then to put your weapons away, you can go ahead and hit Z, and it puts them back in the slots. So what we're going to do is we're going to run over here. Let me actually orient everybody. We're going to go back to the town center, and then I'll show you where I would start as far as getting a level. And I kind of recommend getting at 1 or 2 levels before you start running on any quests. And the reason for that is it really gives you a chance to figure out some of the moves of your character. So we are back at the forge now, and what we're going to do is we're going to run over here and kill a few spiders, get some experience. Every time you kill something, it gives you AVL, it gives you experience, and it gives you a small chance of dropping some sort of item. There's a number of ways to get over here. This is just the path I chose for right now, which may not be the best. And the items, like for the spider drops, has a chance of dropping some bracelets or necklaces. Like I said, I am new with this character, so I may not be the best with it, but you see I got some experience points, I got some AVL added, but they didn't drop anything. So I would go around and hunt the spiders for at least the first level, just so you can get used to the skills. When you're attacking, you have multiple attacks. You have if I'm basing mine on mouse and keyboard. Oh shoot, did not pay attention to this. There we go. I have a mouse and a keyboard, so I use the mouse, and you have the left click and the right click. And there we go. We actually have one of my guildmates just running around there, Sheffy. So Sheffy, you are in the beginner's guide video. So you'll see a lot of my guildmates around here. Oh, he actually did drop something there. That's a wolf pelt. But back to what I was saying. Left click is your basic strike. And every time you strike and actually hit an enemy, it gives you a power. If you look underneath my health bar, there's 0 out of 8. Once you start getting power and you get enough, you can go ahead and do the right click, which will allow you to do a special move. You saw the spin move that I did, which is helpful when you have a lot of monsters around you. You can go ahead and get them. You see how every time I'm hitting one of these guys, I'm actually boosting up my power. You also have other moves To the right, that's under like my level 2 that's in the middle of the bottom. I can do a kick, which is number 1. You see I kick, and then I'll basically knock them back. Number 2 uses actual stamina, which is a jump and attack like that. It's basically pouncing on them, which is fun to do. Then you have 3, which is a taunt. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not a taunt. 4 is a taunt, I think. Yeah, 4 is a taunt. And then, like I said, the right click will be like a spinning move, and we'll go ahead and show that here. Oh, I need one more to do it. I guess 5. I'm sorry. My Sir Galahad's 3. For this one, it's 5 of the power. So you just go around here, and I would suggest just attacking wolves and spiders until you get a handle on your character and a level or 2, which is great. I'm actually going to do the spin move right here. You ready? There we go. That's a spin move. Kills a bunch of at one time, and then you just kill out the rest of them. There we go. And every time you swing, you see my stamina goes down, and you see my health is getting a little bit lower. So what I'm going to get him. So yeah, as you can see, I'm still getting used to these. He dropped, it's a wolf pelt. You see the sparklies. Anytime you see sparkly, that means something's on the ground to pick up. You can go around and get these. You see my health is down to 600. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of my breads just by hitting Q, and you'll see it jump back up. So when you have like Vikings and other characters like this, you'll go ahead and you'll use that a lot. Your breads. So we'll just continue to fight. And then after I get this level here, what we'll do is we'll go ahead. There we go. And I'll show you the first quest. The quest that everyone should really start out with. Let me just see. We have we dropped a wolf ring, so we'll grab that. We got a wolf pelt and a wolf pelt. And if you have headphones on or you have sound, every time they drop one of the rings or the necklaces, you're going to hear a little ching or something along those lines, like a little bell that notifies that the drop is a little bit different than the past drops. All right, we got a level out there, so we're level 3. You'll be level 2. Again, go to level 2 or 3, whatever you're most comfortable with. And then you're going to see over here, this is the temple. This is where we have a number of quests. Right down this road is the main road to the forge that I showed you before. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get the first quest. I'll show you where the first quest is. I wasn't able to show this on a past Let's Play video because we're still so early in alpha, but I'll go ahead and show you the first part of the quest, which is killing the white wolf and getting the white wolf pelt. You go over to this guy, click on E, you accept. I'm not going to read it for you. You can read it yourself. He does talk, so if you also have your volume up, you can listen to him talk, which is nice addition that they have with the voices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run over and grab the white wolf pelt. It's going to give me 50 experience points, which is at a low level is pretty decent. I got some wolves behind me, so let's go ahead and kill these wolves. Maybe I should equip the wolf ring also. There we go. The wolves are kind of a pain because they like to run away from you. There we go. And I'm going to run up here just a little bit, and we'll go ahead and equip the wolf ring. I forgot to equip that before. So I'm up here, hit I. You see you got the wolf ring here. It adds physical power of 4. Just drag it over here, and now I got the ring there. So I got the bonus. So I now have the benefits of that ring. Again, you can have 2 rings, and you can have 1 necklace. And these wolves drop them. The wolves drop basically a melee. Stuff that will help you with the melee, as you saw from the physical. And now I'm getting low again, as I'm a low level. And the spiders drop stuff for mages, which is nice. It's more of a magical boost. And this guy is, say, dancing. All right, let's go ahead up here to the white wolf. Let me go ahead and hit. We're going to jump right in there and do a spin to start out with. So we got him. Come on. Just getting used to the different character. All right, now that that's dropped, you want to go around here. There's the white wolf pelt. And I'm going to take that white wolf pelt back to the guy that we saw at the quest. He's going to give me 50 experience points and lead me to the next quest, which is going to be the Lich. And we got some guys up, some more wolves. It's up to you how you want to do it. you can either just run right past these wolves, and if you're sprinting, they won't be able to keep up with you. Or if you need experience points, I highly recommend that you just fight them. Get some experience points, get some levels, and maybe by the time I turn this quest item in, I'll be at level 4. So that's how you get the first bunch of levels. I don't have my headphones on, so I can't see if I hear the cha-ching. So we're going to run back over here and hand in the quest. And then what I'm going to do next is go ahead and see if any of my guildmates are available to help me out with the Lich, because that's the next part of the quest. Hand it in, and you see I jumped up. I got 50 experience from that. The quests are actually going to give you more experience, especially raid 1, than just hunting those spiders and those wolves. Those spiders and wolves are just good to go ahead and test out your character to make sure it's something you like and learn the skills, which I, again, highly recommend that you take the time to do that. All right, we are back on the main lane, and Forge is right down there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pause the video a minute, see if any of my guild mates are available to help out with the Lich, because I can't fight the Lich alone, especially not at this level. And it's nice just to have a guild. Again, I recommend SD Guild because that's the one I'm part of, and I know them very well. And they'll be able to help out with a number of the quests. So we'll go ahead and do the Lich. I'll show you me fighting the Lich, and then show you where the raid 1 is and a few other landmarks that you should know that are around early in the process. And then you just do this a little bit, and you can go ahead and start doing more advanced stuff once you get to a little higher level. It's just a lot more fun at that point. All right, so we'll go ahead and pause the video, and I'll come back when we're at the Lich. All right, one quick note before we run over to the Lich. There's horses all over. They're back in the game right now. To ride a horse, you just go over. And you can ride just about every horse as long as they have a saddle on. If they're a wild horse, and I'll show you the wild horses later, they're by the wheat field or the grain field that we were picking before. Just go over to any one with a saddle on, press E. You'll jump on the horse and you can run around. Again, this is for alpha. When we get to beta, or even maybe later in alpha, you'll have to buy your horse. But for right now, they are available just to use at any time. They respawn. It's a nice little ad. Really helps get to the Lich too. All right, we are back here at, we made it to the Lich. Sheffy, who is one of my guildmates, who I mentioned before, is going to help me out with this one just because I'm new. All right, we are about to go in here, and there is a good chance that I'm going to die because I am lower level, so that's why you do need some help with these. I'm going to let him actually go ahead of me. Where'd he go, Sheffy? There you are. All right, let's go into this. You can run through here. Again, this is the Lich. It's part of the quest that you have going on here. You gotta watch, because she's a lot harder than she used to be. And you gotta watch those rings. Oh wow. Sheffy made this whole process a lot easier. Like I said, when you're early in the game, it's a whole lot. Did I get that? I did. Okay. You can't do it by yourself. Sheffy was a big help with this, so thank you. We're going to go out, we're going to hand it in, and what I'll do is I'm going to ride back to the town or the village. You can also go ahead and attack these guys for a little bit, just to get some extra experience points. If you're teaming up with someone, you split the XP based on how much, and then you go ahead and turn it in. And then we're going to go ahead and ride to town. You saw I just leveled up again, both because of the quest and also because of the experience points that I earned on the inside. I'm going to show you a little bit of the clip on the way back, just some of the horse riding. Easy to jump over fences. The horses are actually kind of fun because they drift a little bit, so it's almost like you're drift racing. So that's pretty neat. What I'll do is I'm going to jump back here to the village, and we'll show you where the portal is for the raid 1. That's going to be one of the key raid things that you do early game. Gives you lots of XP, gives you lots of AVL, good stuff. And then there is also it gives you some items drop, and it gives you the badge if you are an alpha. So I'm going to go ahead and jump back in here once I get to the village. All right, we are back at the SD village, also known as Dragonheart. We just ran the Lich. We also finished the White Wolf, which means we are good to go for Raid 1. What I would do is I would recommend, especially as a low level, that you get either a good group of players that are experienced and know how to run it, that have some good weapons, or make sure that you are in a group of 6, because if you try and solo this or only go in with a few inexperienced players, it's not going to end well for you. So I highly recommend that if you're part of a guild. For example, SD Guild, we run a lot of guild raids where if people are online, you ask for help. In the chat, if you hit C, you see the chat pop up there on the bottom left. I'm sorry, bottom right. If you go ahead in that and you ask for SD guild run or anyone from SD Guild on there, if you're part of the SD Guild, usually you'll get a couple people that jump on that are very willing to help you run the raid. If you're not part of a guild, and you just choose not to be in a guild, if you go ahead and ask anybody want to run Raid 1, usually you'll get a lot of responses if you do that. Again, as a lower level beginner, I would make sure that you have a group of 6 or a group of very experienced people. You cannot solo this raid. I've done it as low as 3 people, but again, it was the perfect combination of Druid and DPS and tank. So go ahead and do that. Check out the raid. You'll get some good experience from it. You'll get possibly some rewards as far as jewelry dropping. And if you're part of the alphas, you'll get a badge from completing that. And you remember with the badges, which is the main thing that you're striving for here in alpha, other than playing the game, you get 21 of those once every 24 hours, and you get a character out of it. All right, so let me show you where the portal is. Then I'll show you another few points of interest around. I won't show you different areas. We'll do a whole other video on that. But if you want to get to the portal for Raid 1, remember this field that we were gathering grain in. Remember the mill that's up there. If you go up and behind the mill, that's where the portal for Raid 1 is. If you go ahead up here, you see the portal down there. And most people will gather for a raid right here on this giant rock, or right outside the portal. Don't go into the portal, especially if there's another raid that's running. So just meet right outside there on the rock. It's usually the best place. Let me show you a few other points of interest that you're going to want to know about. You can see right there is another mill here in Dragonheart. That's also available if you want to craft. Also owned by the SD Guild. I do have to say the mill that I showed you by the raid portal does make better bread. Just kidding, they make the same bread. I made that joke before, sorry. All right, another thing that you will be interested in is you'll see these chickens running around. If you go ahead and you attack or kill one of the chickens, it's going to drop some meat. You go ahead and grab that meat. Poultry. Also over here, there's some sheep. If you cook the meat from the sheep and the chickens and some of the other animals, you'll be able to get yourself some little buffs as you're playing. The meat from the sheep, when you cook it up, it gives you health regain buff. The chicken meat, once you cook it, it gives you a stam regain buff. And I'll show you, if you have a house, you can go ahead in the house. I'll show you mine and cook it right in the oven that's in here. Right here you can cook it. Or if you don't have that, what you can do is up at the temple where you got the quest for the White Wolf. You can go ahead, there is a cooking pot up here. And I'll show you where the cooking pot is there, just so you have an idea of where this is. And again, they're very helpful. If you play Sir Galahad, you run out of stamina quite a bit. So the stam regen's good. If you're some of the other characters, again, I told you about the drifting of the horses. If you're some of the other characters that doesn't have healing, the health regeneration's great. So you go ahead and click on there, and you go ahead, and these are the two that I mentioned. The poultry gives you stamina regeneration, and then the cooked meat gives you health regeneration. All right, let me show you a few other the points of interest around here. One of the main things that you're going to use a lot, especially as you continue to play the game, is the other portal. And the other portal will take you to other parts of Avalon, other regions. You have Cornwall, which is another village. Eventually the second SD village will be available, plus the harbor and the castle and things like that. All right, so we just passed the fountain. I showed you the fountain before. If you come out here to the left, you're going to go back to really where you jumped in the game at first. You see the stable up there on the right side. You keep going past that. And then you curl to the right here and go to the right one more time. Jump over these fences. And then up here on the left is the portal that's going to take you to other regions. And there you go. That's there. There's a chicken here if you want to grab that poultry. And all you have to do is run up to here, click E, and you can see there's a selection. This list will grow. This will actually be a very popular item to use. It does cost you 25 AVL every time you use it, but it is a whole lot better than running to each of these villages and the harbors. There's a lot of dangers in between. But again, you have Dragonheart, which is the village that we were just in. You have Cornwall, which is the other village. This is where Raid 2 is. You have the harbor. I recommend checking out the harbor. There's a number of little quests here that'll help you build XP also. The castle gates, which is not open right now, but there's a lot of events. There's a battle pass that's available. Not a battle pass. I forgot the name of it, but it's basically a battlegrounds. There it is. There's a battleground that's available or it will be available in beta. PvP, PvE event. There's a hunting grounds. This is specifically for the Druids. It's not open right now in alpha, but it does open every now and then for us to take a look at. So you just select on these. Say I want to travel to the harbor, as I mentioned. Click travel, and there you go. We're at the harbor right now. If you want to go back, if you went to the wrong place, go right back in the portal, or you can go ahead and check out the different parts of the harbor. I would just continue to level up, do quests. It's the best way you're going to get your XP early in the game. You also get items that drop that help you get better weapons. Just lots of things that you can do throughout the game. This was just supposed to be a quick beginner guide to show you how to get started. Get to level 5 pretty quickly, and then go ahead and play from there. All right. I hope this was helpful. Go ahead in the comments down below. Let me know if this type of video is helpful. I'll be happy to do, I guess, the next stage of the game. If you want to go through that process, we can do a quick video on that. I don't want to do each of the quests individually yet, especially in alpha, because that's part of the fun is exploring alpha. So keep that in mind. I'm not going to go through and do each of the individual ones, each of the raids. But I do have another video that's coming out here that's going to do a lot of highlights of different parts of the regions. So you different battles, for example, against the Titans, against the Werewolf, maybe even some snippets of the raid, since I got permission to do some early snippets of that. Just a cool bunch of videos around just Avalon itself. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.